I'm Dylan.
I'm Bob.
And this is the podcast that pretty accurately simulates what it's like to sit on a couch with two dudes.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah. What were we just about to talk about before we went live? Something we were just about to discuss. Oh, yeah. I was just going to tell you I'm listening to Lord of the Rings. I just started listening to Fellowship. I've never read the book. Yeah, I've never read the book. But I had Audible for a while, and one of the books that I got was a month where I was like, I don't know. I don't really have any ideas for what to listen to. And Fellowship was like there. So I've been sitting on it for months, and I finally was like, okay, well, because I canceled my Audible, but you still have all the books. So I was like, shit, I got to start listening to it. And it's really good. The guy actually sings all the songs in it, too. He has a terrible voice. Wait, I think he might have been in the middle of singing when I paused it. Let's see. Wait, no, we'll get copyright strike if I do that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, let's just see.
I love me some Lord of the Rings.
Just so people can hear it.
Brought with him. It was not a large meal.
What a lovely voice.
Yeah.
And that man sings, and he always sounds like... It's amazing. So wait, okay. We were about to talk about VR. We kind of stopped ourselves in the middle of a couple conversations just so we could save it for... So what... You were telling me about a new app you found.
There's this thing. It's not an app. It's like these guys are running these companies where they are doing like full warehouse VR. So you get a bunch of people with the headsets on.
And
it's not. I don't think it's that new. It's just really. It's new to me.
Is this the ones where the guys have like the modular setup, so like they can rearrange the room and then the software, like they have like different.
I think this is the one that I was seeing.
Oh, that's so cool.
8-person multiplayer, and they have, I guess it's a specific game. This one.
That one looks different from the one I was looking at, but they like the people that I was looking at. They sell to different locations, like movie theaters and stuff. For this, their end goal is that they'll send their guys to different locations, and they can build an environment for those spaces with assets that can be all sorts of different things. So basically, the walls are all accurate assets, so they put them in and they build a room that can like double back on itself, and like so you can walk through a door and it'll lead you somewhere, and then when you come back you go back to the door, and so it reuses rooms and stuff. So it's like a small space, but it makes you feel like you're traveling through
that's
a larger
really cool
space. And then they have like if you have to walk over a plank, there's a plank on the floor, right? And it's all like set up so it's all set, and like if you need to pull a lever and you reach out, it's actually there. Like it's not a controller thing. You actually like interact with the space. You open the doors that are actually there.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I'm super excited for when like eventually that will become more commonplace, I think. Because really all you need then is that place needs to have the computer power to run it.
Yeah.
And then not everyone needs to have a VR ready computer in their house.
That's it.
I think that's when VR is going to really catch on. And then I think more people will want a VR ready computer.
Well, apparently
as the specs come down. And
apparently some of these guys, instead of having them tethered, they put it all in like a backpack.
I've seen those.
So that it's all a self-contained unit, so that you can have as many people as you have computers, and the main computer just needs to host the server.
That would be oh man, that'd be so cool. Those computers are stupid expensive right now.
Yeah. No doubt.
But I mean, I think if the location
look at my laptop
themselves,
yeah,
like it would be, actually your laptop's a beast. But
like those ones, as long as they have proper ventilation, you can get they're putting full spec 1080s in laptops now.
Now I gotta show you the thing that I was gonna that triggered. The memory that you triggered for me for earlier today. I realized, for one, that I hadn't looked at Steam in a while. I hadn't looked at if there was anything new on there.
Yeah.
And since I have got an HTC Vive, I thought I might as well see what else is new on there. And I don't know what this is like at all.
You can pull it up on there if you want.
That's okay. I just need to find the name of it. Because I don't know if there's anything interesting to show you from it.
Wow.
Anyways, I can't remember the name of it. Mind VR. But basically what it does is you put on the headset and you have the controllers, and then you act out like you can pick a character and a scene, and then you just do something and there's a camera in the VR space and it records you and you make little cartoons.
That's really cool.
So you can have you can put it on and make a goof.
Oh, I think I did see that because I saw a video where they did the plank simulator with a girl, and they put her on a green screen and they put a backdrop of a thing, and when she got to the end of the plank, the guy went and pushed her. But really yeah, because they did it with the simulated, so the green screen, you could see him. He just kind of runs in out of the air and pushes her.
That's something cool that people have been doing, which is actually putting people into their VR spaces, which is really cool. Also incredibly confusing to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's got to be some sort of app that makes that easier to sort of explain where you would have to put the camera, but the angles and having to make the person fit into that space. It must be
in certain apps too.
Yeah, I think it must be.
Because your Vive, if there was an app that could track a third-person camera within a game in relation to your space, you could potentially tie it to a piece of software.
Yeah, that's true.
And then put in whatever you want behind it.
That'd be so cool. I want that so bad. Just because now I am obsessed with what kind of cool because right now we're doing a lot of what everyone else is doing. Yeah. And I'm super excited to find that thing that we're passionate about making that's different. And we've got a few of them on the horizon here. I think right now Pat's relationship series is definitely the most unique thing that we're working on, at least to the web.
I like the documentary style stuff. I think that's interesting. I think once we get these artist series figured out, I think that can be really fun because it's not just a music thing. It's we're trying to tell a story of not only the person but the place.
Yeah. And after we did that hot sauce thing here last week, I was like, well, wouldn't it be cool when we have a guest on Cahoots Live to do fun stuff like that where obviously the hot sauce interview thing that's already taken. Hot Ones. We shamelessly stole that last week.
Yeah, that was fun.
But it was a blast. And I'm kind of addicted to and I'm jonesing for the next big hit of the next peak of what hot thing I can eat.
Yeah, me too. Let's go for wings.
Speaking of hot ones, have you watched the video of him with Chili Klaus where they eat the pepper? My girlfriend Tanis, she thinks that she was laughing so hard and couldn't stop. I came in and she was watching it again. The next day, she's like, I could watch that 1,000,000 times. And it is sincerely, if you haven't seen that, is one of the most charming videos on the entire internet. Is the Hot Ones, Sean, what's his name? Sean Evans and Chili Klaus, who's this amazing, where's he from? Iceland or?
I don't know.
But
I don't listen to videos. I just watch them.
But oh my god, it's just the most charming video. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. Not right now, though. Watch this. But we have a topic for this week, and I think this one's going to be a long conversation, so we should get into it because I do have a heart out at some point.
All right, let's get into it.
So I came to Bob today with a proposal that we try and discuss and debate what the top 5 fictional worlds to live in would be if you're just a normal person. Also, as a counterpoint, the 5 worst ones to live in if you're just a normal person. So the idea being that if we were there, we would basically just be ourselves. Nothing would change about us. We're just a normal dude. So do you want to just read through our list and then we can go through them point by point?
Yeah. You go first because I think I finally have a couple more.
Okay, yeah. So I have one that I want to add to mine, but I'll save it for after you've done yours because I think it's more of a delightful. I'm interested to see if you remember this world. But okay, so Middle Earth is my number one. Not my number one. This is just the first one I wrote down. My number one place to live if you're just nobody in a fictional world. So I think that one is debatable, but we'll discuss that in a minute. Pokemon, Star Trek, Ready Player One, which we should watch the trailer for before we discuss that one, and then Harry Potter. Those are my 5 good places to live.
Okay.
5 worst: Star Wars, Marvel's New York, or DC's Gotham, or Metropolis. Any of those. I focused in on those ones because I felt like it would be unfair to be like Marvel, but you live in Hoboken.
Yeah.
So Marvel's New York or DC's Gotham or Metropolis. The third one, Game of Thrones, would be terrible to live in.
Yeah.
The Matrix, and then John Scalzi's novel Red Shirts, which I described to you, but I guess I should describe here too for anyone who's listening. The premise behind Red Shirts.
Oh, Dan's here.
Dan's here.
Hey-o!
Probably just coming to the How you doing, dude?
Dan, long time no see.
I know. What's up, man? I just got home from work, so I'm just all fired up on coffee right now, so I'm trying to tone myself down a little bit.
We're finishing our coffees right now too, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Welcome to Sectional Intercourse.
Yeah, you're also the first guest on the show.
Oh, honored. Beyond honored.
And
I have nobody to thank.
Ruined it. We're being honored, you pussy.
Well, I am now insulted thoroughly, so I hope you never have me back.
Point of this show.
Yeah, that's where we're trying to get to with this thing, is just to completely piss off everyone who joins us to talk about this stuff. Just like sitting on a couch.
Oh, perfect, because
yeah.
Well, you guys are shit, so it works out nicely.
Exactly. So here's the premise for today's podcast, Dan, just to catch you up. Me and Bob are discussing the top 5 best and the top 5 worst places to live, fictional places to live, if you're just a normal guy. Yeah, so fictional.
So you have no superpowers, but
yeah, exactly. So like if you were in, for example, Marvel's universe in New York, you're just a guy who, like, you're a pizza delivery guy. But you don't necessarily have to be a pizza delivery guy. That's not part of the rules. But you're the equivalent of a pizza guy in that universe.
Yeah.
okay.
He's the equivalent of you.
So you guys have listed your top 5 or bottom 5 or
working on it. We're
perfect
just
timing.
I'll
I'll reiterate mine so you can hear them. And then we're gonna discuss Middle Earth. These are my 5 best: Middle Earth, Pokemon, Star Trek, Ready Player One, which is a novel that Spielberg's making a movie out of it, and then Harry Potter. And then my 5 worst are Star Wars, Marvel, like superheroes, more or less, Game of Thrones, The Matrix, and then another novel, Red Shirts, which perfect timing. I was about to describe this to the listening audience. So Red Shirts is basically Star Trek. It's a novel by John Scalzi, and spoiler alert, the premise is that they are in their world. They're all the, like, lower class guys on the, like, Enterprise, essentially. And they find out that they're actually living in a universe of a television show that's created in the 80s and was like a bad sci-fi TV show, like of the ilk of Star Trek, where they just get killed every week. So they're like, so they just die. Like everyone, it's constant. If you're not an important character, you just die.
It's like stormtroopers.
Yeah, exactly. You're cannon fodder. Like, and like the writers, like all the stories
die.
They're badly written.
Yeah,
their lives are badly written, so it's just a generally bad place to live. And Bob, what did you have?
All right, for my 5 best.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I have Middle Earth, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek, of course.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
All right, and then my last 3, Zelda, like the Zelda universe, just because it's so pretty. It's always so pretty. And like, I mean, and like villagers, like, yeah, there's crappy stuff happening, but it's not like equivalent to most video games. Like, I've been trying to find examples to bring in video games, and it's the only one where the NPCs like generally have a pretty good life. Like,
like a bad one would probably be like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah,
like,
just to be like
any video game,
any Rockstar game.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we could just like look at Rockstar. Just imagine that their whole world takes place in like a long, like, Red Dead Redemption's in the same universe as Grand Theft Auto or whatever. Those games are definitely the worst ones to be.
Yeah, and then I have The Simpsons.
The most interesting conversations you have with people just on the street. Good day, Mr. Marston.
All right, and then we have number 4, The Simpsons.
Oh, The Simpsons would be a good one.
It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just because it's The Simpsons, obviously.
Yeah.
And then number 5 is the Space Jam universe.
Okay.
Just because, like,
so not Looney Tunes, but Space Jam specifically.
Yeah, well, because then it's like that mesh of real life and cartoons instead of just being cartoons.
So you're not stuck being like Wile E. Coyote then.
That's it. Yeah. Like you're,
because he's basically the equivalent of the average guy in that universe.
Yeah, like Like I always like picture after Space Jam happens that there's just this like everybody knows now Michael Jordan just came back from the Toon universe. Like,
oh yeah,
we have a portal there now, so let's just like let's go be cartoons, like chill cartoons.
Yeah, because was that game televised? Like, is that
well
like,
no, but
and...
everybody knew Michael Jordan disappeared. So like if he just shows up. Like, what do they be like? He just like, I disappeared through a golf hole, but I just went to Hawaii for a couple weeks.
I think, and also Wayne Knight was there too. Newman went.
Yeah.
Newman, and he's gonna blab for sure.
Bill Murray.
That guy's like a notorious prankster. He's gonna tell everyone about Space Jam.
That's what I'm saying. So
okay,
like,
yeah, I can get behind that because I was gonna say, wouldn't that just be a normal world, but you just like don't know that there's a portal to the cartoon world, but. I think there's a good chance that everyone knows right after that.
That's it. Yeah, like it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Also, there's that movie afterwards with Brendan.
And an athletic Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Well, semi-athletic.
Yeah. That's as athletic as he got.
I think I would love to watch a Bill Murray sports movie, like a Bull Durham with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Like in his prime though, like not now.
Not now.
Because obviously there's no league that would let him play. At his age.
Yeah. All right. Well, Dan, do you have any that you can think of off the top of your head? Like we don't need 5. We had a chance to prepare.
No.
Yeah, and the one that first came to mind was the Rockstar universe, which just being either the most interesting or I mean, it's freaking terrifying for the most part, but
yeah, that would definitely be that's where the arguing comes in here because I think there's going to be some argument to be made for.
Well, because the thing is like as a regular, like if you were the protagonist, it would be cool. But even then, like everyone dies in GTA.
Exactly. Then
Red Dead,
you just come back to life.
As a normal person in Red Dead, you're basically just living in the Wild West. Except there's also that zombie expansion.
Oh yeah.
So as a regular person, you're also potentially living in the zombie apocalypse. And all you.
I thought it was just on Marston left in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, is a zombie in that one? He's still alive?
I can't remember. I haven't played it in so long.
Yeah, because I bought the game, but I think I played about 2 minutes of it because I realized the other one's way better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I can't wait for the next one to come
out. A small aside, wouldn't it be great if they did the same sort of downloadable content for Grand Theft Auto? I always thought that would make the best like world for a zombie apocalypse game. Yeah. Just like. Especially if they're slow shambling zombies, because that whole point of that game is you love running shit over.
Yeah.
Like just like run over hordes of slow moving zombies.
Yeah, instead of having all of that, all the cars and all the traffic and stuff, it's just all that.
Just have cars literal over the place, like sitting there like idle.
Yeah.
That you can plow out of the way.
Yeah.
Makes it then like you can have some really.
And you'd have to. It'd just be like right out of The Walking Dead. You just have to like roam around, find gasoline to put in a car and.
Yeah, that would be an interesting mechanic to add to that game too. If like you have the cars, but you have to use them sparingly, because like, anyway, that's a topic for another time. I think that actually sounds like one of my favorite games ever if they made it.
Yeah, agreed.
So, Middle Earth, I think, is arguably the second most obvious good place to be.
No, I don't know because I was thinking about it after I wrote it down, and in the story. Men kind of get messed with, especially if you're like.
That was the same thing I was thinking about, but I was trying to think if there was any way I could spin it where I'd be like, but you could be a hobbit. But I mean, I think the whole point is.
I am a hobbit, so I guess I.
You can at least blend into the
hobbits. Those hobbit feet.
Just take off my socks and they'll be like, "Whoa, you're just a really tall hobbit."
You're a hobbit.
Tall Hobbit is the best name for a shitty band ever. I'm just gonna write that down.
Write that. No, that's mine.
Oh yeah, don't worry, it's yours.
No, that's.
But I gotta make sure we don't forget that. Tall Hobbit. I hate anyone who's in that band already. But then, like in the way that like it's like that's the equivalent of like a band called Bowling for Soup.
Yeah.
I don't know. That band might have been good. I never gave them a chance because their names suck.
I was a big fan.
Yeah. See, I'm sure
I like all 2 of the songs that I know by them.
And I didn't listen to them for the same reason I wouldn't listen to Tall Hobbit. Because fuck you.
All right. Okay, so And then Star Trek, that's the other one we had in common.
Star Trek is 100% for sure the best place to live if you're a normal person because they've basically cured illness, racism, everything is just good, and it only sucks if you're really on the Enterprise.
Yeah, like if you're in
Space Nine. Yeah. Like if you're out there in, like if you're with like Captain Janeway would be the worst one because aren't they actually lost? Or they're just like the deepest you can go in, like they're past.
I don't know. I only watched
they're in
the
uncharted
Next Generation.
space, I think. But anyways, other than like if you're not on the ship, then a pretty good place to pretty good life to live, I think.
Yeah.
Because you'd never be sick, you'd never be hungry.
Nope. Yep.
You live in the sci-fi world.
Yeah.
Full of aliens that are cool,
yep.
that like are friendly, and you're only really gonna run into bad aliens if you are out there way in the depths of space. I think the next most obvious one, and Dan, I'd like to hear your take on this one, because I think this one is a pretty universally loved property, but I don't know. Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What do you think, Dan?
I'm with you.
Well, frig, I mean, I feel like I lived the actual Pokemon universe once Pokemon Go came out.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, it would be pretty cool. Like, well, actually, it might be pretty terrifying because I watched a lot of Pokemon with Darren as well. And there's some crazy stuff you run into when you get out of the cities. Like you're going from town to town, like groups of Beedrills. Come on, terrifying.
That's true. Oh, yeah. And if you accidentally try, like if you try and catch a Pidgey, it's like the first episode. If you try and catch a Pidgey, all of them try and kill you.
Oh yeah, they're a group. It's nothing like the game itself, where you see one and he's all by himself. No,
Pidgey's a ride or die, man.
Yeah, you really do have to be a Pokemon master. Like you gotta have all the Pokeballs. Yeah.
See, I want to play Pokemon now.
The reason I think Pokemon's an easy sell is because everyone you meet in that world is kind of the person you'd be. Like you wouldn't be a Pokemon trainer who's out there exploring. You'd just be a dude who like runs the bike shop. But even they have Pokemon.
Yeah,
like everybody's got Pokemon because that like it's just a thing. You catch Pokemon, you might not train them to fight. And honestly, I think that'd be the worst part of being in the Pokemon universe if you had to actually train your pets to fight other people's pets. And,
I'd be so into it.
But like
that just sounds like a dogfighting ring.
Yeah, you'd be Michael Vick.
Yeah, but like it's not because they're Pokemon. They're like they have all these powers for fighting.
But the thing is, they're only really happy about it because they're in a cartoon, I guess. But
yeah, but I mean that's the universe.
Fiction,
like there's nobody in the universe protesting, being like
that's
it's
true.
cruelty to Pokemon.
That's true. I guess Pokemon are like they're born to just be cold-blooded murderers. Also, how do they like what? Like, can they die? Can Pokemon actually?
I don't know because I don't think so. I think they just
because they have in that world.
Once they go to the Poke Center or whatever it is, then they actually get. I think they just lose all their energy.
Yeah, they faint, and then you got to put them in a rehydrator. So
your pet's immortal too.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Like
what about Cubone though?
Yeah,
Cubone's mom died.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they die
because that's the whole reason.
Maybe they die of like old age. Like maybe they can die. Like they can't just like get killed violently. They can just like.
But actually, I don't know if that's true because there's been a few times, at least in the cartoon, which
maybe
admittedly is probably like the least important piece of the puzzle here because I don't look at when I think of the Pokemon universe, I think of what I lived in those games because I felt like I lived in that universe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, me too.
That's what I see. Like,
yeah.
In the cartoons, there's a few points where like, oh no, he's gonna die. So he definitely like, there's a threat of death.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird.
But it's self-inflicted, right? Like, if
you're just the average way out is suicide.
Well, no, but like, I just mean like it's self-inflicted by like the situations that he got himself into are like his decisions.
So like if you stay out of danger, your pet could live forever. Like it's only gonna die.
I don't know. Like that's what I was wondering. I'm just wondering if like maybe Pokemon battles are like UFC fights where they're just like everyone knows like he's down, that's it.
Actually, yeah, that's gotta be it, right? Because if they can die, then there's gotta be a point where they're out cold and you're like, okay, whoa, dude, get off my Onix.
Yeah, like all right, he's down.
It feels like that this universe has the same death route that like Warner Brothers would have, or Looney Tunes with Wile E. Coyote, right? Like he falls off cliffs and gets crushed by everything, but he comes back.
Yeah.
Same with Team Rocket; they get blasted into space.
Right. You're right.
Did anyone else feel like always feel bad for Team Rocket? No. There's so much pathos.
Yeah, but
they're
never
mostly pathetic. They're not even that evil. Yeah. They're just kind of jerks.
Yeah.
And they've got a job working for like this like evil company. But like even like when they're like you can tell they're conflicted.
Yeah. You're right.
Like the Team Rocket, like the duo, like Jesse and
Jesse
and James or whatever their names are.
I agree.
But okay, so Pokemon, I think that goes on that's definitely in the top 5 for me. So what else did you have on yours?
I have The Simpsons, Zelda, and Space Jam.
The Simpsons is an easy sell because it's basically real life, except everything's funny.
Yeah,
and like
and
the rules of you live in a cartoon.
Yeah,
you don't get old.
And you don't get old because they're the same age all the time.
That's true.
They've been the same age since.
You live in like an eternal
and like
loop of the same. So it's like Groundhog's Day, but you don't know you're in Groundhog's Day.
That's it. Or like anybody that's been on The Simpsons is immortalized like at the peak of their success. So it's just like, when is the coolest time in your life? Okay, well that's usually when you would likely have been added onto The Simpsons.
Also, celebrities just like hang out in small towns in like Springfield. Like, you could be anybody in Springfield.
Yeah, that's it.
And you'd have been to a Rolling Stones concert, Aerosmith, every band that's ever been important.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Red Hot Chili Peppers at Moe's.
What's that?
It was Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think, or Blink-182 at Moe's or something like that. Like small venue, like that's good stuff.
Small venue that you can't beat that.
Yeah,
like that you only get those shows if you are like at a bar and the Pixies show up.
Yeah,
like and in Springfield that happens literally every day.
Oh yeah,
I like it.
I think Simpsons is an easy sell too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me try and sell you on Ready Player One. So, do you want to do a screen share and watch the trailer real quick?
He can't hear the volume.
Oh, he won't be able to hear the. Okay, so I'll just explain it. Well, if you're interested and you haven't read the book and you're just like you want to see kind of what the world looks like, check out the trailer. Steven Spielberg directed a movie based on the book, and it's coming out in like a couple of months, I think, maybe this summer. I don't know. So essentially, in this world, there's this guy who invented this virtual reality world that is like just amazing. You can do anything, and you can be friends with. You can have an Iron Giant, and you can have a mech suit. You can do whatever you want. Like it's basically just infinite planets of worlds and places you can go and things you can do. If you want to live through your favorite movie, you can do that. You can do pretty much anything you want to do. So it's this amazing virtual reality world. The real world is dystopian. So they're like people live in like the main character lives in trailer stacks, which is just basically a bunch of trailers stacked on top of each other, like poorly stacked because they've run out of like horizontal space. So they're stacking trailers like hundreds high. So it's not the greatest world, but you can escape to this virtual reality world where anything's possible. And essentially, if you're the main character, he wins this. Like, it's a great win for him because he, like, the guy who created this world pulls a Willy Wonka, and when he dies, he leaves Easter eggs that if you can find all of them, you win and you own the thing. Yeah. And he, by the end of it, has beaten out this corporation that's trying to beat him through all the clues by using all of his knowledge of the 80s and geek knowledge. Yeah. He gets there and he saves it. So in this world, there's just this amazing virtual reality world that is basically free to use and like just like it's like this great, amazing like. Because I always thought like if there's good enough virtual reality that allows me to keep moving and fuck it, like I'll do all like I don't need to like go on crazy adventures in real life if I can just hop into a virtual reality world and feel like I'm actually experiencing the Lord of the Rings from the first person perspective of fucking Frodo.
No, for sure.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't want to be Frodo though.
No.
He has the least interesting adventure.
Yeah.
Realistically, he walks and gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, if I was gonna be a Hobbit, I'd want to be like Merry or Pippin.
Merry or Pippin are definitely the two to
Whichever
go with.
One does the least amount of fighting.
They do get captured though.
Yeah, I know, but that's still like there's, I don't know.
Are those one of the guys that have like the third or fourth lunch?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Sorry, I'm terrible with the whole Middle Earth, but I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I think I would want to be like an Aragorn.
Yeah.
Aragorn would be sweet. Because Aragorn is just like a badass.
I'd want to be an elf for sure.
Anyways,
elf. I'd want to.
If you could live in
a
virtual
Hobbit,
world.
but I'd want to be an elf.
It's just by the nature of us having this conversation, I think that proves that world is definitely one of the ones that, like, even if the world's not that great, it's like a soft Matrix. It's not so bad that you hate your life and want to die, but it's nice to be in that virtual world. And then you come out of it, and maybe the world's not great if you're not that rich, but it's livable. So I think that one would be pretty cool. The last one on my list is debatable, and I think it's on your worst ones.
Yeah, I think so.
Harry Potter. And
it is on my worst ones.
So before because we clearly have...
We just be muggles.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're right.
We just be muggles.
I know. So here was my thinking, though. That at some point... okay, I was trying to cheat the system. I was thinking maybe you could be a squib and live in that world, like live in that magical world. Like you wouldn't have the powers, but you... So in that case, I think it'd be one of the best because it'd be a really interesting world. Although you'd probably be super depressed. I don't know. It's debatable. I think I'm probably wrong on this one.
I guarantee one world that you would always be depressed would be the South Park world.
Yeah, South Park.
I have that on my list. But the thing is like old South Park was brutal, but like the newer stuff, it's like shit. Like, is it really that different?
That's a good point. Like they had to.
I'm literally on my worst
satire because it got too real. They couldn't even make fun of it.
That's it. Like on my worst list, I literally have South Park scratched out, Rick and Morty scratched out, South Park scratched out, and then Rick and Morty. So I was trying to decide between those two as to which cartoon world would be worse. But South Park, I decided on Rick and Morty because, again, I thought South Park is like, it's almost too real.
Yeah. South Park is
like it hurts.
Real. I think Harry Potter is somewhere in the middle of those.
It's very true.
It's like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. Like, it's basically just normal life.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think Harry Potter needs to come off of my list. Eventually, we're gonna use this conversation, refine it, and we're gonna put out a little blog.
Yeah.
It's like actually like a finalized. Here's what we think is the worst.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do our worst then. Did you start yours or should I?
You go with yours because I think mine might be a couple of mine are controversial. I think.
Oh yeah. Wait. Did we finish our total best list yet?
I got mine.
Okay,
We'll compile them after.
Okay. And then worst. Okay. So Harry Potter, and then I have Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars is on mine too.
And then I have the 100. I don't know if you've seen that show.
I watched an episode, but I remember that one being like
post-apocalyptic type future.
So is that good or bad?
Thing. These are all the worst ones.
Yeah, these are the bad ones.
Just say that's terrible. Like that is. But which one would you be? Like, are you on?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one you are. You're just a normal person in that world, and regardless, it's like nuclear Fallout City.
Oh, that's terrible.
Okay, Fallout. Forgot that.
Well, and then my last one is literally any video game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I almost feel bad putting...
Most video games are either destroying all the NPCs or you're the hero trying to save all the NPCs from being destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point of
it's usually grand sweeping action and adventure, which means almost everyone dies.
Yeah.
Like... Or you're in the normal world, and if you're a normal guy, like if you were in Uncharted, you're not gonna be on an adventure with Nathan Drake. You're just a dude.
Yeah.
That lives in Minneapolis and has never heard of Nathan Drake.
Yeah. Or like Assassin's Creed. Yeah. Like you're just some dude. You're just some dude in Venice.
Yeah. You're just in history.
Yeah.
You're just living in a worse time to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I had South Park and or Rick and Morty because I couldn't decide. But yeah, Rick and Morty because just generally like the things that happen in that world. I feel like for just not being somebody prepared for it. Yeah. Although I don't even think you'd notice, I guess. But I think anytime normal people show up in that show, they get kind of fucked around.
Yeah, like they'll get frozen and shattered, or like shot to death, or something horrible will happen.
Because the Rick and Morty universe, you could say is
Lovecrafty and horror.
It's like a very exaggerated version of like the Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Universe, right?
That's a good way to put it.
Have you ever seen Doc and Marty, the cartoon that Justin Roiland made before they ever made Rick and Morty?
No.
It's hilarious.
That's
so weird. It's basically just Doc Brown and Marty McFly, except it's spelled Marty MHARTI or something like that. It's Doc and Marty, but he's like, we gotta go back to the future, Marty. We gotta. And he goes back and he's like, but the time machine is broken, Marty. You gotta. The only way to fix it is to suck my balls, Marty. Suck my balls. And he just like actually like, and then it's just like that every time something happens, he's like, oh, Marty, you gotta. The only way to fix this is to suck my balls. He's like, I don't see how that's gonna help. But every time he does, it actually ends up helping. So it's just like the solution to all the problems. And then by the last one, it's like, this time, Marty, you gotta jerk me off while you do it. You gotta suck my balls. You gotta jerk me off. It's amazing. It's a great. And then there's one that's like a Gatorade commercial. It's really funny.
That's good. I'll look.
And there's one that's like a commercial for a comic book that, they're funny little cartoons.
That's sweet.
They're amazing. So yeah, Rick and Morty would be a horrifying whole event.
Yeah, I think so.
Star Wars, I think, is the one that I could see people having an argument with. But really, like, if you look at it in contrast to Star Trek, Star Wars is a world where they have infinite technology and everyone's still living in poverty and the world still sucks.
Yeah. And also
living under a fascist regime.
I put stormtroopers in brackets because I feel like, especially if you were on,
and that's the best job you can get.
Yeah.
Luke wanted to go to the Imperial, join,
that's it.
Han Solo was part of the Imperial Academy. That's the dream job for the Empire.
Yeah, and
it's
all they do is
having
just
a
get
civil service
slaughtered over and over again.
Yeah. And
they don't even get taught how to shoot a damn gun.
And if you don't die, you are essentially.
That's why it's the best. Is because you needed no training.
Yeah, you're right.
You get a cushy job. You're probably going to be stationed on Tatooine.
That's a good place to be.
But the thing is, you're stationed on Tatooine, and you're gonna be the only guy with air conditioning. So you can you're gonna be the top shit on that pile, right? You're always gonna be the top dog everywhere you go, and you're not gonna have any training. You basically, it's like being in military service in a non-war time in a friendly nation.
Yeah.
If you're a Canadian serviceman stationed in modern day Germany.
Yeah, I guess because in the movies all you see is stormtroopers getting slaughtered, but there's got to be so many.
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
they're essentially military police, right? They do everything. It's also weird that they have one.
There's going to be a lot of downtime from stormtroopers.
Every job, including checkpoint guys on Tatooine. They're just hanging out. You got any robots?
We haven't seen anyone in 3 days. How you doing?
Just a bunch of fucking galoos.
Yeah, we're Italian.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm a stormtrooper, huh? You know what I'm doing, huh? Hey, whoa.
I'm trooping here. So yeah, Star Wars would not be the best place to be, as a normal person. Marvel or DC are also, in my mind, it's essentially the same. And here's my main argument against. Not necessarily the fact that there's a fresh, hot 9/11 every morning when you wake up. Oh, what's that? Another 9/11 every day? But
Spider-Man 9/11.
But still the building got blown up.
He saved that one person.
Yeah, he saved the guy who fell out of the window, but the building still fell over and killed a bunch of people. And sure, Doc Ock's in prison, but he's going to be out again next week.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, just that alone.
Yeah,
I think what's even worse is the psychological issue of everyone dreams of being a hero. In that world, your dreams aren't even shattered.
Yeah.
You know you're not one of the heroes.
That's true.
You're sitting there every day watching.
That sounds super depressing.
Robin got drafted, didn't he?
Yeah, but let's assume that in this world you're such a schmuck, no one's ever gonna Just so we know, it's thoroughly clear that you're one of the guys who's never gonna be there. You're just the biggest schmuck in the world.
Yeah,
bigger than Peter Parker, because at least he had the golden heart at the center of him, and when he got bit, he rose above it all and saved the world all over and over again. But in this world, you're essentially like one of us. You're you're a nice guy, but at the end of the day, you're probably not gonna be if I had superpowers, Like, I'm not gonna be like, I better stay up all night every night.
Yeah, and stopping crime. Yeah,
New York City, like, fuck that. There's
well,
no way.
maybe he just can't sleep.
Maybe Spider-Man's just a narcoleptic.
Yeah, it's just like not only is it like it's just every night he just gets a surge of spider adrenaline, and it's just like he has no choice but to either just like start sprinting around or just like I might as well solve crimes if I'm just going to be sprinting around the city all night.
It's funny to think that narcolepsy is like clearly like if you actually look at comic books, that is clearly the MacGuffin that starts every adventure in comics. Is that like the only people who can't sleep? Like I bet you there's tons of guys in that universe who have superpowers who just like don't leave home and still just jerk off and play video games all day. Because really, does your desire to be a douchebag change when you get superpowers? Like no, only like and like not everyone's gonna have the wherewithal and the gumption to be a villain.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna knock over a bank. You know how much work that is. Even if you do have robot arm tentacles, like that, you still gotta like you're probably gonna get shot.
I was gonna say, and then you're easier to find.
I mean, bottom line, and if you're a lazy piece of shit, you're gonna just be a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. So even if I got superpowers, nothing's gonna change.
No, I agree.
So like your whole power fantasy, like the thing that keeps us all going is that like someday I could be Spider-Man. No, you can't. And if you're in that world, you know you can't because you're not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that's a terrible one. Game of Thrones. Do we really even need to discuss that one?
I don't think so. Unless you really like winter.
Yeah, because in that world, it's a fantasy world where all the fun stuff's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And the only time magic.
All I got is dragons.
To kill someone.
Yeah.
Like. And the one guy with powers that are actually cool is Bran, and he's just. Have you guys been keeping up with the? Spoiler alert! I guess I'm not. I won't explain more. But someone has powers, and it's like they're not even that cool, and it kind of just makes him shitty.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't really use them at all.
It's well, no, for sure. I just any world like that where there's imminent danger all the time, I feel.
Yeah, like just destitution. Like
yeah.
It's like living in medieval times, except you also might die by dragon if you're in the wrong place, though.
Yeah, or just like that imminent winter.
Yeah.
Is like.
Yeah, and then the White Walkers, like it's just that you're in a zombie apocalypse medieval nightmare.
Yeah.
Where everyone's trying to kill each other. It just sounds like the worst.
How do people stay alive? I just don't get it.
What's that, Dan?
So, having never seen the show, how do you stay alive?
In Game of Thrones?
Do you have to just be part of royalty?
You gotta be ruthless and rich. Because if you're rich, you're also probably gonna die. But if you're ruthless, you might get by. But then usually pride gets them in the end. Like everyone's always dying. So like even if you're poor and you're not in the line of fire, then you're gonna die because you're gonna live a terrible life and you're gonna be like covered in fleas and ticks and shit.
Yeah.
And if you're rich, then you're one of the people that people are gonna try and kill. It's like just a
so that just sounds overall. That almost sounds worse than
Game of Thrones. So that one sucks.
Oh, so that's why they called it that.
Yeah. I was watching a podcast earlier with Max Landis on it when and they brought up Lord of the Rings, and he's like, and someone said like, oh yeah, he's talking about Sauron. He's like, yeah, the Lord of the Rings. He's like, oh my god, this is the first time I've ever realized that Sauron is the Lord of the Rings.
What?
It's like never really occurred to me either, but he was like mind blown by it.
Yeah.
Like, wait, Sauron is the Lord of the Rings. Like that is like, but he made a good point. He's like, that's like if you called Star Wars Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's just like bizarre. Next worst.
Darth Vader's adventures with his forgotten son.
As in Lord as the guy that is a lord in control of the rings?
Yeah,
or do they mean Lord as in
one ring to rule them all?
Aren't there alternative definitions to the word Lord?
I am Lord. La 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 la.
Well, oh, you mean like the recording artist?
No, like
Lord of the Rings. I'll never be a hobbit. You mean like Lord, as in like Lord, like the stately manner having like dignitary kind of Lord?
Hold on. Trying to see. I could be just totally wrong.
Are you Googling who the Lord of the Rings is?
No.
Okay. It's got to be Sauron, right? Or is that what? Anyways, I got one more before we wrap it up. I want to discuss the Matrix because that is clearly to me like there's no good side of that coin. Because if you're in the Matrix, it's just like being in normal life. And if you're out of the Matrix, you live in hell.
Yeah.
No, that sounds terrible.
Like, can you think of any positives to being in the Matrix other than knowing Kung Fu?
Dodging bullets is all I got.
Yeah, but like if you're a normal person, are you in the Matrix or are you just in that like weird,
if you're a normal person,
gray...
I think I think that's one where there's a bit of gray area because you can be a normal person who's been disconnected from the Matrix, but is just like the guy who runs the nightclub that you see in that one scene in the third Matrix or whatever, where they're all like partying. You'd be like that DJ at the Matrix club, or you could be like but like then you still live in like an underground hellscape. And the opposite is you just live the regular life you live now.
Yeah, true.
And you don't know that you're actually secretly
in the
a battery for a robot.
What if we are a battery for a robot?
We probably are.
We're all a simulation, boys.
Yeah, Elon Musk already told us. Like, why even discuss it?
Well, yeah. We can do it.
The internet said it.
Yeah. The internet said it. It's got to be true.
Yeah.
I read it on Reddit.
It's fact.
I read it on Reddit. The internet said it.
Oh.
That's my own.
That's the start of your poem.
That's the beginning of my own Flanders Fields. It's Flanders Fields for the modern age.
In 100 years, they're gonna look back on that and be like, "Wow, he couldn't have been more right."
He couldn't. That was a place where the poppies did eventually grow on Reddit. The blood that was spilled there sprouted many flowers. The kind that eat things alive. I think Reddit is bad. If we could imagine that Reddit was a real place, just as one extra flight of fancy for this discussion before we bring the podcast to a close. Imagine if Reddit was a real place.
Yeah.
It's like a city with like districts that were all like the different subreddits. It'd be the worst place.
What subreddit would you live in?
Gone Wild. Just everybody. Like just all hot women, except like in like the dark corners, there's a bunch of dudes like whipping their dicks out. Who are you?
Don't step into the light.
Just downvoted into the shadows, but they're there, and there's more of them. There's more of them.
Yeah, that's it though. Is if you have an opinion, it better be collective, or else you're just gonna be downvoted all the way out of there.
Yeah, Reddit actually is probably the ultimate terrible fictional world to live in.
Yeah,
because like it's like
no, Facebook is.
No, because Reddit is like a brave new world. It's got the problems of Facebook, but like, every opinion you see is like the most popular opinion.
Yeah,
and
that's true. And
if you disagree with it, you will be universally hated. Because it's so easy to dogpile on Reddit.
That's true.
It's harder to dogpile on Facebook because someone will be like, this guy, like back off. Like, why would you do this to your friend?
I always think of it as like in a technical capacity. Like you don't like Facebook is open to people of any capacity of intelligence, whereas like someone to be able to navigate Reddit in the first place and to understand how to interact,
they need to have a boner.
Well, you need to at least understand how the system works. Like there's a learning curve to Reddit,
and then eventually you find the front page and you're like, oh, this is cool too.
Yeah.
But first you need the boner to get in there and really figure it out. And then once it wears off, you're like,
or in Dylan's case, you find the Gone Wild section and you just kind of go with that.
There's so many things. Okay,
I was gonna say I discovered Reddit trying to watch sports.
Yeah, I think I probably found Reddit by people showing me while I was in school and being like, "Hey, look, this is the place. Why is everyone just this Italian guy? Everyone's Rodney Ninja.
These damn stormtroopers arrived.
No respect at all." Now, for our final segment, the way we wrap up every week
is 3 weeks hot sauce.
Not this week. So Dan, we have a game that we play where we go into the trending topics on Twitter. We find someone to reply to, and we reply collectively, one word at a time, until our character count is
Use
full.
the Wi-Fi.
That's okay. I can use the LTE. I'll use data. So we respond in one word, kind of like that one word story where we all go around in a circle, and we reply to a tweet. So let's find out who we're going to reply to.
All right, I hope my connection doesn't lag too much in this case. Then
that's fine. We'll wait. We'll wait until we hear from you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
How about now?
Yes.
Good.
Good.
So let's see. The number one trending topic right now is Harvey Weinstein. Let's see what he's.
What is that?
Probably from. In response to our reporting, Harvey Weinstein has apologized and has taken a leave of absence from his company. The Weinstein Company is like a film. He's sexual harassment. Let's avoid that one.
Yeah. We talked to Kim Kardashian last week, I think.
Yeah.
We weren't very nice, but we also didn't make much sense, so.
It's almost always sports. Like Twitter is like the domain of sports. Like sports.
That's all I do on Twitter is hockey news.
Sports and Black Twitter.
Speaking of Twitter and hockey, sports.
Oh yes. Do a plug while I find
Dan and I do a podcast every Tuesday night called Crap Shoots Hockey Podcast, where I'm a Leafs fan. Yeah, right. Dan's a Leafs fan. I'm a Habs fan. And we mostly talk about other teams as well as our teams. Every week we try and pick a different team to watch. This week we're watching the Penguins. Hell of a game last night. That was awesome. They're playing again tonight. And then we get together. See what we notice. Dan just dropped out. I think his connection is lost. He'll hop back in a second. But yeah, basically we just go back and forth. We do a segment on hockey news. We try and avoid the same old talking heads that you see on TV. We just kind of do a regular dude's take on it and try and inject a little bit of humor. So check that out. Yeah, we're going to get Dan an Ethernet cable.
I jinxed it.
Well,
hello, that's okay. Perfect timing because I just finished the plug.
Yeah, now everyone knows.
Now everyone that watches this podcast can go and watch
all three of them.
Yeah, exactly. Can go watch
every single one of them.
People that watched our podcast.
All right, so I still have not found anyone.
Here, I'll find something.
Help me find something.
I got you.
Blast the Rock over Fast and the Furious delay.
The Rock?
Yeah, Tyrese Gibson blasts the Rock because there's a delay in the Fast and the Furious.
Oh,
F9.
All right, I think we know what we're tweeting about.
Fast and the Furious?
Tweeting Dwayne the Rock.
He said, "Congratulations on making the franchise about you."
Okay, so I will start with my word, and then we'll go.
Okay, so we're talking. Who are we?
Me, Dan, Bob. Me, Dan, Bob.
So we're just tweeting at the Rock.
We're tweeting at the Rock about that.
Okay.
So, hey, Dan, so your turn. Next word.
Yeah, you're to the left.
Mr.
Hey, Mr.
Rock.
Yeah, that's my word.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Rock. I
have a terrible connection. What'd you say? I just see you guys staring at me.
Hey, Mr. Rock. And then it's you.
Your
Y-O-U-R or Y-O-U''re?
Up to you.
Okay, your Y-O-U-R.
Okay. Movie
needs that look on your face. We don't know if you said anything.
Hey, Mr. Rock, your movie
needs
it needs more bikes.
More.
Or did I say more? Yeah.
Rocks.
Yeah. More rocks.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Did you put a period in between?
Yeah.
Okay. Why
Does.
Oh, and by the way, I started in all caps, so let me know when you want it to end. Why does...
And then is it Dan?
No,
why does Vin
number.
What?
I refuse to go with the flow.
All right, where are we at now?
Why does VIN number
226.
226
not
matter?
How many characters we got left?
We have 46 characters left. Dan, new sentence, by the way.
Well, yeah, because Twitter's longer now. We have way more characters to work with.
Jeez, I didn't even know.
Is that rolled out yet?
The
tragedy
is
okay.
The tragedy is okay.
If
Paul Walker, all one word. 11 characters. We have left.
If Paul Walker's all one word.
Yeah. The tragedy is okay if Paul Walker
is
in.
Got me? All one word.
What? I don't get it.
Because there's only enough characters to get to that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have another word. So now, maybe we never get it. It never makes sense.
I know you're
Hey,
right.
Mr. Rock, your movie needs more rocks. Why does VIN number 226 not matter? The tragedy okay if Paul Walker is in. Got me?
Got me. Okay, send it.
Russian bots.
All right. So once again, we've sent a nonsensical tweet to a celebrity.
Thank
and
you.
That's the end of the show. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Do you have what's your Twitter? Can people find you on Twitter?
Yeah. Dan, plug.
Oh yeah, Fryman29. That's my Twitter account.
So go follow him and look at him pick his nose.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, buddy. Woo!
And you can find us Sectional Intercourse on there as well. So
yeah, on YouTube, on Twitter, and follow Cahoots on Facebook. And don't look me up at all.
Me either. Bye.